Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I am so glad to be able to be with you this afternoon. Happy Friday. Hopefully, you are feeling, whew, at least have gotten some rest. I know that the last couple of days have been really hard on folks. So, hopefully, you've been able to do some of the basics like get enough sleep, get some water, get some food, and hopefully have a plan to practice self care this weekend. For those of you who are joining for the first time, my name is Ruby Powell-Dennis, and I am the Democratic nominee for Tennessee State Senate District 31. District 31 includes, it has 220,000 people in it. So it includes Lakeland, Arlington, parts of Cordova, Collierville, parts of Germantown, and East Memphis, starting at the Poplar and Highland corridor. Um, a lot has happened in our district in the last couple of weeks. If you've been following the news, you know that this morning at 4 a.m., thousands of folks across Shelby County, myself included, gathered at Zach Curlin and Central and Belvedere and Central to just remember and lift up Eliza Fletcher and her family. If you've been following the news, then you know that Ezekiel Kelly um, crossed the city, crossed our county, shooting at individuals. Um, and there's just a lot that we are still processing around those acts of that act of terrorism. Um, and so I wanted to have just a community check-in. One, to just check in with folks, see how they're doing, see how, hop in the comments, talk about what's on your heart and mind. But also just to have a real conversation about when moments like this happen, because they keep happening to us, what is it that we want to do? Because what we know is that, if there were simple solutions to this, people would be doing it. We know that it is not that folks do not love Memphis. We absolutely do. We are the grit and grind city. We love the Grizzlies. We love St. Jude. We love the work that happens at Le Bonheur. UT Health Sciences, the Memphis Tigers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about just wonderful institutions that represent the heart, the soul, the culture of Shelby County, of our city. And so we love Memphis. But we also know that there's not a single person who I've ever met who says, I don't want to live in a city that's not safe. I don't want to live, I want to live someplace where I can't walk the streets. No one gets up saying that, right? We know that everyone wants to live in a safe community that's healthy, clean water, free from pollution, free from crime, one where you could run at 4 a.m. or just be driving down the street, stopping at a local store. We know that having that is important, and it doesn't matter your social economics. It does not matter what zip code you live in. It doesn't even matter how you consider yourself politically. That's just a very real human want and need, and that's to feel safe and to be able to move through your community safely. And so that's what today's conversation is about. Just centering our community first, because even when people make decisions, and let's be clear, there is not a single piece of legislation or policy you can write that will keep someone from committing a crime if that is what they are intending to do. There are lots of things that can deter people, cameras, having a police presence. There are lots of deterrents. Living in a gated community, all of these can be deterrents. Having alarms at our houses, deterrents. Having a gun, deterrents. But we know that if someone gets up and they are determined to do harm to another individual, deterrents aren't enough. And so first, we want to center community because people matter. The lives of everyone in our communities, our police officers, moms, our children, the lives of people, folks want to be safe. And so where do we go from here? One, recognizing that folks are going to want to use this moment to say, we should have more guns. And, I'm firmly in the camp of I don't think in a place where we're struggling with gun violence and crime, this is the time to invite more guns for any reason into our communities. We know that folks can have the best intention in their heart and want, to keep someone else safe. But we don't want to be in a situation where, firearm is in a purse, someone drops their purse and that firearm discharges and someone's injured. And so, I wanted to make sure that I, share that, I'm in the camp of what are longer term meaningful solutions we can implement, providing jobs to people so that they don't have to turn to a life of crime as a means to support themselves and their families. Um, we want people working and serving in their community in a positive way, making a positive impact. And so continuously thinking about creating systems and structures that do that is important. It's also important that we continue to acknowledge that, if someone is living in an impoverished situation, doesn't have access to health care, they don't have access to someone to talk to about what they might be struggling with, that mental health is not just something we can wave a wand and fix. It is also, important that folks who are living and dealing with health conditions, whether it be of that of the mind, the body, folks have access to health care so they can take care of themselves and get the help they need. Again, because if you are not well, if you are not healthy, it's very difficult to make good decisions. And lastly, just acknowledging that, unfortunately, we still live in a state where we have permitless carry. And in a state with permitless carry where folks can go and buy a gun quite easily, I think it's just important to acknowledge that we just need to have common sense about gun access and gun control in moments like this. I was talking to someone at this morning's event, and they asked me, what do you think is like, if we had to come up with a solution right now, what's something you would recommend? And in that moment, I just reminded the people that we have a lot of underserved communities, a lot of underserved neighborhoods, a number of underserved families that are victims of poverty, victims of being unhoused. And when you couple those issues with, lack of access to health care, people can feel hopeless. And when a person feels hopeless, that their life doesn't matter, they can make decisions that, align with that belief. And so, I think about the fact that, the lives of young people have been impacted, whether it's as a result of the actions of Ezekiel Kelly or, as the result of, Liza being gone, the students in her classroom. And so, these are real human beings. There are lots of folks who are impacted by what's happening, even the names that I am not calling out. And so just not wanting to oversimplify, but move with from a place of empathy and understanding, and then just honesty about, there's no situation in which encouraging, people to carry more guns, more weapons. At least I believe, I don't think that that's a solution at all. I think if anything, now is the time when we say we should be putting down weapons and we should be choosing love. We should be choosing, nonviolent actions. We should be choosing policy decisions that limit access to guns. We should be choosing those things that make it more difficult for folks to get guns to begin with, so that guns that are stolen out of cars, glove boxes, homes are not used in violent crimes. We should continue to invest in workforce development programs. We should continue to invest in expanding healthcare. We should absolutely continue to invest in putting counselors and mental health professionals in our K through 12 school system. Because again, I see it coming up over and over and over. This is, impacting young people. This is impacting folks who are in our educational system, our public educational system. And so continue to invest resources there. And again, be empathetic in our approach and our conversations, not because we are letting off anyone who is engaging in criminal activity. I want to be very clear about that. This is not a plea to let off anyone who is engaged in criminal activity. But again, to recognize that the situation is very complex. But we love the city. we love Memphis, and we know that we're stronger together. And I am firmly in the camp of folks who are committed to finding long-term solutions that save lives, that put resources into communities, into families, because that is how we actually strengthen our community to prevent situations and circumstances from happening. So with that, I'm just going to close by saying I love you. I am grateful to be running for office during this time, during this moment. I'm humbled by just the words, the feelings, the emotions, the expectations, the hopes, wants, the dreams of folks I get to talk to. I'm humbled to be able to hear those things. And I'm grateful to be able to just talk with you in this moment and share a little bit about what's on my heart and mind. Please continue to reach out to us via social media at Powell-Dennis TN across all platforms. Jump in our comments. You can even send us an email at info@rubypowelldennis.com. Just let us know what's on your heart and mind. And if you have policy solutions, recommendations, considerations, articles, or things that we should know that you think could benefit our thinking and ultimately policy on this issue, please send that to us, because community developed and community-based solutions allow us all to play a part in a healthy, safe Memphis and Shelby County. All right, y'all. It's Southern Heritage Weekend. It's also a busy weekend out in Germantown because the Germantown Festival is this weekend. And so as you are out and about spending time or at the Dixon, because the weather is supposed to be really nice this weekend, or any other outdoor space or event, please be mindful of your surroundings, stay safe, and stay hopeful, Shelby County. Take care.